Welcome to Lumbee River EMC Stadium, and it's time for the Peach Belt Tournament. The postseason is upon us. The UNCP Braves and a big-time matchup hosting the North Georgia Nighthawks. These two teams are very familiar with one another. Played each other a week ago tonight. A narrow victory for UNCP, 1-0 last time. Also played each other last season in the semifinals, and it once again went the way of the Braves. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening here on the UNCP Sports Network. Chris Clayton and Sam Jelinek with you. Thank you to Robert Hawkins and Brandon Hodge running our cameras here for this match. And Sam, this is going to be a heck of a match. Obviously, the other times these two teams have matched up, they have been epic duels. But for UNCP, one of their big focuses here, defending their Peach Belt Championship. They took the crown last year, making an unlikely run as the 4 seed to a title, and they're looking to repeat here this year.
Yeah, why not do it again? I mean, Lars Anderson talked about it at the beginning of this season. The goal is to repeat, to get themselves back into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, you can't do that as the regular season conference champions now, as Columbus State went perfect through the entire Peach Belt on the season, but now a chance to repeat as Peach Belt Conference Tournament champions. And it starts today against North Georgia, a team UNCP played 1 week ago in an absolute thriller that UNCP won in overtime on a winner from Riley Searing. And I've got a feeling it's going to be somewhat similar here today.
The Nighthawks finished 5th in the PBC. UNCP, of course, finishing 4th. These teams both have the same record, though, 6-3-1 in Peach Belt play, but obviously UNCP with the tiebreaker thanks to that aforementioned overtime victory. These teams evenly matched in every sense of the word, and we are underway. The Braves play ball a little too far there. The UNCP starters on the field, they've got Alexis Pittman, Bree Mason, Stacy Scott, Rolfs, Christina Rolfs that is, Carly Rochelle, Christina Stevenson, Jillian Robson, Haley Stewart, Brianna Decuteau, and Katie Ryan. Playing in goal for the Braves, of course, all-conference performing goalkeeper, the Braves' all-time leader in career shutouts, Gina Ryan, playing between the pipes. The Nighthawks of North Georgia play it too far, over the back line, and UNCP will take over with a goal kick. For North Georgia, this is a team that has been taken to new heights under head coach Chris Adams. They've been very successful as of late. Pretty good road team this year, by the way, is North Georgia, 3-2-1. They're going to need to take that on the road here this game against UNCP, who hasn't lost at home this season. Foul on the play with Christina Stevenson. Peach Belt Conference Tournament, first round action. Winner of this matchup likely going to take on Columbus State. However, of course, there is the possibility that the 8 seed does come away with a upset victory over Columbus State. That would be Clayton State if they can get the job done. But Columbus State, as Sam mentioned earlier, is perfect this year in conference play, 10-0 in the Peach Belt, so that's unlikely. Big challenge lies ahead. Both these teams, though, obviously focused on this match. UNCP's taken the last 2 in the series. Earlier this year, actually just a week ago, and last year in the Peach Belt Tournament. Here's Stacy Scott, being played physically by Rent, and then it's taken over by Thorson. Now in the middle of the field, that's Grace Morgan, trying to play it ahead to Bissell, the junior. Booted down by Adlam. There's Jasmine Aslan. Or Adlam, I should say, the freshman out of Orlando. Now the Nighthawks on the Braves side of the field. Explosive offense this year for North Georgia. Just under 3 goals per game, was second in the Peach Belt behind Columbus State, who is averaging over 4 goals per match. Here's Asia Thorson ahead to Peyton Bissell out of Hoover, Alabama. She's got Pittman all over her back. Plays it back for Jasmine Adlam. Then goes back to the keeper, Hannah Gowdy, who boots it out of play. So UNCP now with possession with a side throw in.
Hey, see that high press right there for UNCP, pushing up the pitch. It's one way that they really like to create offense, and it's given them a nice shot here.
for Scott. Nice touch as she controls it outside the box. Right foot strike deflected towards Pittman. Got a chance. Some contact in the box, no call. Great opportunity for Alexis Pittman. Just got to strike. Get it. Got to be a little quicker there if you're Pittman, you would think. Easier to say in hindsight, but you'd love to see at least just a shot at Gowdy.
Yeah, for the Braves, it's been a raucous start, hasn't it now?
Maybe Pittman thought it was going to be an offside call. She looked a little hesitant.
I saw the defender back there for North Georgia raising her arm. She wanted a call, but it was kind of a hesitant attempt, so I'm not sure what the reason was for a little bit of hesitation.
Just about 4 minutes in, and what an opportunity that was for UNCP. They might not get more opportunities like that the rest of the match.
I mean, we saw the last time these two teams played, it was a scoreless draw up until the first overtime period, and it wasn't like each team had a bevy of opportunities to go in that game. Each team had a handful here and there, but, you know, in a conference tournament setup like this, you strike first, you put yourself on a real advantage because it's win or go home.
UNCP with a win on Friday over Georgia College. Here's an opportunity for Malasic, and Malasic is off the mark. Taylor Malasic, sophomore out of Peachtree City, Georgia. She's a preseason all-conference selection. Had it outside the box. Gina Ryan now with a goal kick. A lot of times Katie Ryan will take the goal kick for Gina Ryan, her twin sister, but this time Gina handles it. There is Katie, or excuse me, that's actually Haley Stewart there in the middle. Loose ball handled now by North Georgia's Peyton Bissell. Bissell being played closely by Pittman. Already a physical match early on. It's only going to get more physical. That's usually how it goes. And the fact that we're already seeing physical play shows you what type of match this is going to be as we progress. It's going to be a battle. Pittman downfield for Bree Mason. Here's the electric freshman for UNCP. Being played by Rent. Physical play. Mason stays balanced, keeps it in. Trying to cross it towards Pittman. Feet were tangled, and a foul call on UNCP.
Yeah, that was a little hand fighting there, a little feet fighting as well. Everybody going at it, and it looked like the referee there playing an advantage to North Georgia. Eventually, UNCP won the ball back, so the foul called on UNCP. But like you said, physical already.
There's Robson trying to play to Pittman, a little too far, but it goes right to Stevenson. Come the Braves, working left to right in their home white jerseys. Rolfs, who is the Peach Belt Defender of the Week as a midfielder.
That's extremely impressive.
Yes. Obviously does a great job defensively in the midfield, but it is rare to see a midfielder chosen as Defender of the Week.
I think the important thing to note, just backing up a little bit, nice ball by Mason.
Here's Scott. And a full sprint across, and Mason's not there. I think Scott thought Mason was going to go for a run, and she wasn't there.
Bree Mason just taking the words out of my mouth with her actions right there. You know, that getting her the ball early in space, letting her get down this right side wing is exactly what the Braves want to do. Let her try and get some crosses in. And right now, the offense working probably just as well as Lars Anderson would like.
Well, if there is a weakness for North Georgia, it's their defense. Give up over a goal per match, 1.18 to be exact. And you say, what does that number mean? Well, it's 6 in the Peach Belt, so they're kind of middle of the road defensively. Offense is really where North Georgia is tough to handle. So the Braves having some success on the attack early on. Katie Ryan's boot's too far over the top, so no danger there for North Georgia. Gowdy's got it in goal.
And that right there is going to be important for the Braves the rest of the way. They won the game against North Georgia last week off a set piece, off a corner kick. They had a couple more opportunities throughout the match on a number of free kicks. So North Georgia struggling to defend those might be where UNCP can attack in this game.
Here's Scott for UNCP. Calmly looking to play it back, some physical play once again there on the far side. Here's Stevenson. Forward for Mason. Cleared out by the Nighthawks, but the Braves again. Pittman on the near side. And she's offside. North Georgia takes back over with Adlam, the freshman. North Georgia last year was tied for first in the Peach Belt before being knocked out by the Braves in the semifinals of the conference tournament. There's a ricochet that goes rocketing into the bleachers here at LREMC, where the Braves have been fantastic. UNCP 8-0 at home this year and only allowed 1 goal. It was kind of in garbage time in a blowout victory over Georgia College on Friday. Tough way to give up a goal. Scott to the middle, and no one's there again for UNCP, but a nice attack by the Braves. It's happening pretty consistently. Here's Renee Van Horn, one of the leaders in the conference in goals scored. And the Braves are able to play it away, but the Nighthawks still in possession. Carly Rochelle, physical play against Olivia Dunphy.
One of the keys for the Braves here in this game, they did it last week, was controlling Renee Van Horn, not letting her get too many shot attempts, because when she scores, you know, obviously that's a goal for North Georgia, but also as she scores, North Georgia much more likely to win. As she goes, so too does this team.
Third in the Peach Belt in goals this year with 12 of them. Cross towards the middle and a nice shot for Malashik. Ricocheting around and it goes out of play. Gina Ryan, they were able to come sliding in for a clutch deflection.
First real pressure we've seen put on in this game by either side. A couple of shots on net. And we'll get our first corner of the game as well.
So a huge opportunity for North Georgia. First corner of the match. It's a low line drive shot cleared away by Scott. And Bissell plays it back into the box. Awkward deflection, but it, luckily for UNCP, goes to Gina Ryan. Ryan boots it downfield, and here's header coming off Malashik. Pittman and Bissell. Well played by Bissell. Pittman. But here's Renee Van Horn, the senior out of Marietta, Georgia. Now onto the far side to Dunphy. Give it to Abby Crane. Rochelle with the pressure defense. Dunphy with the throw in for North Georgia. Freshman Grace Morgan cleared away by Rolfs. There's a Peach Belt Defender of the Week.
Pretty aggressive slide tackle, even in her own third, but getting the job done.
Christina Rolfs used to be a defender. And she's kind of joking around with Lars Anderson. She said, I never won it when I was a defender. Now I'm a midfielder and I was a Defender of the Week. And Lars made a good point. Yes, Defender of the Week makes it sound like it should be always a defender, but he was happy the conference was willing to recognize a midfielder for their play defensively. Not just being nominated, but saying, yeah, you know, she's a midfielder, but she does a great job defensively. And, you know, even if you're a forward, if you do work defensively, the term of the week doesn't mean you have to play a particular position necessarily.
Now, one thing you'll notice if you watch UNC Pembroke over the course of the season is Christina Rolfs plays in more of a central defensive midfielder position.
Bree Mason down the right side. Oh, wow, the physical move by Mason. To Pittman. Oh, heavy touch. Loose outside the box. The deflection goes to Mason on the near side. Another great opportunity for Pittman. Robson. Ooh, good idea by Robson, but it's too far over the top of Mason.
Don't like to say maybe a little bit of nerves early on. Just a couple of heavy touches there by Robson. Pittman in the box twice now. That was a nice opportunity she had to potentially put something on net. Just kind of scared the keeper a little bit. But that's one that'll probably linger in the back of her head for the rest of this game.
Van Horn near the ball there. Goes off Robson and out of play underneath the bleachers. Adlam throws it right to Pittman. Stevenson Rolfs, the left-footed Through ball downfield, goes all the way through to Christine Rent. Mason's pressure forces that one out of play, so UNCP back in possession. Well, not to underestimate UNCP or anything, but I'm pretty surprised at the pretty clean attacks the Braves have early on. UNCP is pretty smooth right now on offense.
Yeah, having a chance to cleanly play the ball through to Bree Mason here on the near side wing, getting Alexis Pittman a couple of opportunities, potentially put a boot on something net and throw it towards the net. You don't really expect that too much from a North Georgia defense. Obviously, they allow a good few goals per game, but for the most part, they're going to pressure you a lot and make you really earn those goals.
First 14 minutes, UNCP with a couple of shots, but the stats don't really tell the story. The Braves have been on the attack, and the Nighthawks are feeling the pressure. Just over the head of Pittman, it goes to Van Horn. The senior surveys the field, trying to play it down, but DeCuteau is there. Trying to hit Abby Crane, the freshman, but she couldn't get to it in time. Goes right to Gina Ryan. Approaching 15 minutes into this Peach Belt quarterfinal clash. Now the rest of the conference is playing later, 6 and 7 p.m., but UNCP and North Georgia dueling at 4. Coach Anderson agreed to that because he was trying to make travel a little bit easier on North Georgia. Obviously a little bit of a trek here coming up to Pembroke, so wants to make it an option for them to get home in a reasonable time. That's why we're playing early. Look at this physical play in the box.
Fire, Carly!
Katie Ryan. Nice defense by UNCP. Physical team top to bottom of the Braves. And helps now to have, obviously that was Rochelle there applying some pressure on the far side, but Haley Stewart is back now, more healthy. She did miss a match. Stacy Scott was forced to play center back. Gina Ryan cleans that one up. But Stewart did play on Friday against Georgia College. She's back in there for this Peach Belt clash.
And I think that it's great to have her back, but the more important thing in my eyes is being able to put Stacy Scott back on top. That's a very unique presence, the kind of height that she provides, as well as very good pace. You know, you don't really find that in too many players. And having her play center back, she did a marvelous job last week against North Georgia, but a much more important player at the top of the field, scoring goals for UNCP rather than trying to prevent them.
Stacy Scott, the Braves leader in goals scored here in her senior season. North Georgia with a throw-in from Dunphy. Takes her time, finds Bissell. Pittman and Bissell have been battling a lot this match so far. Here's Rochelle with it far side. Braves looking for an attack. Now to Scott. 23 on 23. That's Mackenzie Brennan playing her defensively. Scott shields her off. Cross towards Mason to Pittman again, and this time the defense was there. Well done by Dunphy, applying a body to Pittman, not allowing her an easy strike.
Yeah, that was a nice little flick on by Bree Mason as well to get it to Pittman, but I don't think she got enough of it as she would have liked. That ball still had a pretty good amount of pace on it by the time it got to Pittman, which made hauling that thing in on a soft touch pretty much impossible.
Dunphy and Mason with a battle. No foul called, free ball, and now it's given to Rent. Upfield to Bissell. Whoa, Robson with a bomb. Lofted with backspin, giving Mason an opportunity. Not a clean cross from Mason. The physical play, again, affecting it. Both sides, physical defense.
That was a beautiful chip shot by Robson.
Yeah, that was...
Placing it perfectly on the green for a 10-foot birdie putt.
Yeah, a little flop shot action. Plopped it on.
And again, trying to find Mason down the right side. I prefer going to her down the right side here rather than Scott in the left because I want Stacy Scott in the box trying to finish something off.
Scott with 8 goals this year, the Braves leader in that category. 5 goals for Bree Mason. Mind you, those 8 goals for Scott have come in 10 matches this year. as she has missed 4 matches this season for UNCP due to injury.
Not to mention one of those matches she was playing as center back.
Yes, that too. Gowdy will boot it out of play. That'll actually go into the ditch. Still some water, some of that left over from the nor'easter that we had this past weekend. Ton of rainfall coming in. Robson throw into Scott just outside the box on the byline, and that one will be a goal kick. Nothing doing for UNCP.
Not very clean for UNCP in the finishing third so far. For as much as they've been on the attack, they only have 3 shots at this point and not have forced a save out of the keeper for North Georgia. A little bit disappointing.
And there is the keeper, Gowdy, the transfer from Georgia with a boot. Off the head of Rochelle to Rolfs. Pops it high in the air. It's Grace Morgan with it for North Georgia. Out in front of Dunphy. Boots it downfield. There's no one there except Haley Stewart for the Braves. Bombs it back towards Mason at midfield. Pittman, ooh, off the back of Dunphy. DeCuteau with a corkscrew downfield, goes off the chest of Van Horn, who's in control. One-on-one with Stevenson, play it back. Dumps it off. Thorson. And DeCuteau. One of the freshmen for, or actually the sophomore, one of the young players that is for UNCP that have played really well this year. Mason on the attack, knocks over Dunphy. Bisso. For North Georgia, this is a program that's done well in the Peach Belt. When you consider especially the fact they were an NAIA school until 2004. Moved up to D2 in 2005. And not soon after, under head coach Chris Adams. Uh-oh. Contact in the box. Don't call DeCuteau physical defensively. DeCuteau bombs it away to Scott.
Let's go, girls, move up.
That was very much a hold your breath moment
Yes.
for UNCP in the box there. I was waiting to see if the referee's hand was going to point to the spot.
Stevenson applying some moves, but Dunphy is there defensively. Man, more physical play.
This is one thing for Stevenson. If she's going to play this far up, she is hustling on back. And as a defender, that's exerting a lot of energy.
Give it to Mason. Ooh. Mason's really fun to watch with the ball. Oh, and there is a call. A little bit of a delay call, but the fans definitely called it. The official reciprocated.
That was a pretty good form tackle for North Georgia, but I mean, you're going to take somebody down like that, somebody's arm is going to go up, there's going to be a foul called, and a real good opportunity for UNCP here and for Christine Rolfs to get something into the middle of the box.
Officials letting them play, but that's a little far. Rolfs, Gowdy's able to take control.
And still, again, you just want a little bit a better service there from Rolfs to give somebody a chance to get ahead onto something that's straight to Gowdy, who comes off her line wisely and plucks it out of the air with basically no pressure.
Well, is actually last in the Peach Belt in save percentage. But, Sam, we were talking off the air. North Georgia is such an aggressive team that sometimes she's put in no man's land or no woman's land, so to speak, which explains that save percentage, because she's certainly not the worst goalie in the conference, the 5'10" transfer out of the Georgia. So she's a little bit deceiving there with that 717 save percentage from Gowdy.
And if you're the Braves, you want to test that 717 save
True.
percentage.
But to your point, they don't have a lot of clean shots. There's a pretty good one, and Gowdy's able to take control. Carly Rochelle says, forget it, I'm just going to shoot this.
Yeah, pretty far out there for Rochelle. Got a good amount of pace on it, but straight into the waiting arms of Gowdy. But why not take a shot, force something on there?
Robson clears it out. North Georgia, though, with an opportunity here in the Braves half of the field. Couple subs coming in. North Georgia making the first substitution of this match. It's Kayla Sundstrom, the senior, and Rosie Embley coming into the match. Grace Morgan and Peyton Bisso subbing out. There's Dunphy with a throw-in. Freshly checked in Rosie Embley out of England. Transfer actually from South Cheshire College.
Hey, remember to last week, Embley had a couple of opportunities to put North Georgia on the board, send them to the bar, a couple of free kicks, also had one ball in the box, a beautifully placed pass that Renee Van Horn ran over to allow her to have a clean shot, but put both of those a little bit skyward. So you have to wonder if she wants a little bit of vengeance here.
Or physical play, and the defense.
Way to go, Rochelle!
Rochelle's able to take possession. Nice job by UNCP's junior defender. There's Rochelle near the midfield. Oh, she's taken down there, looked like by Crane, but no call. Well, you know, I gotta say, I gotta give the officials some credit. They're letting them play, but pretty consistently. They're not calling ticky-tack fouls. This is a postseason match, and they're really letting the players play.
Yeah, no, and for the Braves, what they got to realize is for as much pressure as they want to play in North Georgia, Nighthawks are going to give it right back. If you're going to play physical, you know, there's very few teams that the Braves match up against who will try to be as physical as them. But North Georgia, with having seen them in the past week, they say, fine, you want to play this game? We'll fight fire with fire.
Work together now, work together.
Katie Ryan, junior. Great defensive player for the Braves. Boots it downfield. Thorson plays it up. And now it's Sundstrom, who was just checked in pretty recently. All the way up to Crane on the far side. Day-Couteau, stride for stride. And it'll be a goal kick for UNCP. Some of the numbers so far: 3 fouls on North Georgia, 1 on UNCP. Braves have 4 shots to 3 for the Nighthawks. Both teams with 2 shots on goal. So evenly matched, pretty much whatever way you look at it so far. It's interesting for UNCP. Always a great defensive team. But this year, their offense has really stepped up compared to last year. Very similar record. As the Braves last season were also 4th in the Peach Belt, which is where they're this year. But Braves averaging about 2.3 goals per game this year. Last year, they were at 1.5. So when you look at it, the offense has been a little bit more explosive for UNCP. But statistically, they've relinquished a few more goals. None of that matters, though, if you can have success here in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. Scott on a run. That's a goal kick.
And one thing I applaud North Georgia so far is they're making UNCP get the ball upfield with Scott in possession, and that's fine because Stacy has a few moves in her arsenal that she can use to score goals. But you look at Stacy Scott's height versus the back line from North Georgia, she's taller than everybody. She can jump higher than everybody as well. So for the Braves, they want her to be in the middle of the box with somebody like Bree Mason or Carly Rochelle crossing that in. And right now, North Georgia's making sure that's not an option because they know that that's one way that they could be handily beat.
Stacy Scott's listed at 5'10". The only player 5'10" for North Georgia is the keeper, Hannah Gowdy. Scott has that advantage in terms of height and athleticism, but especially height over pretty much everyone she plays. It's rare to find a player taller than her. Ironically, she does have a teammate who is taller than her, and Jillian Robson, 5'11".
Got to get rid of the ball.
There's Embley. Now she goes to Malashik. Back to Embley. Pittman and Stewart. Now Malashik, and that one will be played too far ahead. Robson lets it go out of play, and it's a goal kick for the Braves.
That ball now.
Well, I got to agree with you, Sam. I do think we're seeing a little bit of nerves from both sides. not only is it a postseason match, but both teams know every time these two teams face off that they're so close. The matchups are so even that any mistake you make could be the deciding factor in the match. It's always in the back of your head.
For North Georgia, they remember UNCP as the team that A, beat them last week, or A, rather, beat them last week, and B, was the team that knocked them out of the season last year.
There's Abby Crane. Deflection goes off the Nighthawks, and it'll be another. No, it's a corner, excuse me. And it goes off UNCP and over the byline.
And for the Braves, they remember North Georgia as the team that they beat in order to get to the conference finals last year. A reminder of their run. And UNCP, it's not the end-all be-all if they end up not making a run in this conference tournament, but they know if they want to solidify their spot in the NCAA tournament, you win and you're in.
There's a cross towards the middle, and UNCP is able to clear it away up the field to Mason. Yeah, I mean, the Braves obviously want to defend their Peach Belt crown, but that's a fact right now is that the Braves are a bubble team. You know, you look at the regional rankings, UNCP not for sure in, and a loss would be very detrimental here to their resume, if you will, to get in the NCAA tournament. So not only do you want to win that Peach Belt championship, but if you want to keep your season going afterwards, this is an important match for UNCP.
And even so, not just as a resume builder, but North Georgia is one of those teams the UNCP will be trying to compare against, trying to get into the tournament. They match up very favorably against North Georgia, but another win against them would really solidify their spot as, hey, UNCP is probably the better team than the Nighthawks.
Right now, you look at UNCP, 4th in the Peach Belt, and North Georgia at 5th. You would think UNCP would be ahead in the regional rankings, but it's not how it is right now. It's not that simple, obviously. So the Braves trying to make a statement and say, hey, look, we're a better team than North Georgia. We beat them twice. That's the hope if you're UNCP. North Georgia, pretty good resume, but they also are a bubble team as well. So trying to slip into the postseason themselves. An important match for two teams in the middle of the Peach Belt Conference. 4 and 5 seeds duking it out here at LREMC.
You kind of feel like here in the past few minutes, the tide might have turned in North Georgia's favor. They've gotten a couple of balls into the box, a corner kick as well. They're on the attack again.
It's Dunphy down the left side. Crossing it with the left foot. Robson, 5'11". In the shoulder, maybe even in the face, but blocked away, and it'll be a corner now for North Georgia.
This is where you've got to keep an eye on Renee Van Horn. You got to make sure you mark her.
Yep, here's Dunphy in the middle, over the head of Pittman. Gets away from Ryan, cleared away by Scott. Oof, dangerous ball rolling in the box in front of Gina Ryan. Shively back to the middle, right to Ryan. She handles this one cleanly.
And it's nothing that Ryan can control, but when she dove, that ball actually ended up out in front of her, and you could see her legitimately crawling and trying to dive to get on that ball. Somebody else got a foot to it first.
It was Scott.
But that's about as scary as it comes. A ball trickling around in the middle of the box. Like you said, Stacey Scott got to it first. Well, there's a whole host of things that could have happened before that.
Stuff of nightmares for a keeper. Braves, as you mentioned, kind of losing momentum. They were on the attack and possessing the ball for the most part early, but North Georgia has really settled in. And metaphorically has the Braves on their heels right now. Thorson to Dunphy. Robson in front of her. Dunphy another cross. This time it gets past Robson. A header goes off of Stewart for UNCP. Pittman now boots it downfield to Scott. Touch towards the middle. Bomb it downfield for Mason, but it's rejected by Mackenzie Brennan. Goes back to Scott, though. Out of Pittman. She's got to run past Dunphy. Here goes Alexis Pittman, the sophomore. Oh, she waited too long. Another hesitation, and a great job by Asia Thorson. And now it's Embley sprinting the other way for North Georgia.
Shoot it like that, Pittman.
Intense action now as we go back and forth. Counter opportunity for the Nighthawks. Nice give and go. Malashik back to Embley. Into the middle. Deflected away by De Couteau. Deflection and a collision. Crane, far side. Sprint from Katie Ryan. Clears it away. And North Georgia with a throw in.
You hate to harp on it, but it looked like right before Alexis Pittman wanted to take that shot again, a little bit of a heavy touch. It took it a little bit far away from her. She wanted to shoot it, but had a little bit too much pace on that ball. It got away from her. Otherwise, she had a clear shot on goal.
It's a foul just outside the box. My goodness, that was really close to being a foul inside the box. That was dicey.
And this is where North Georgia did not execute last week on their set pieces against UNCP. We'll see what they have in store here.
Still a huge opportunity. Embley, head away, Crane, blocked by Ryan. Crane again. And it's a corner for North Georgia. Wow.
Well played on both sides. Gina Ryan for the save, North Georgia on the setup.
And that is not an ideal corner. And it goes over the byline back to UNCP. And a deep exhale from Brave Nation.
We saw last week, Rosie Embley, her first corner was basically exactly the same result as that. And in a conference tournament game, you can't waste those opportunities. You know, you can't send a corner straight out of play like that. Because that's an opportunity that North Georgia worked extremely hard for and one that they'd like to capitalize on, and to not even have a chance to put something on net.
The senior Robson up ahead to Scott, another senior for UNCP. Oh, heavy touch again. Well, you mentioned a missed opportunity for North Georgia on that corner. UNCP probably saying the same thing. And not just on that play, obviously, but the Braves have had the ball in the box a few times and not really challenged Gowdy. So both teams have some missed opportunities. If we go into the half 0-0, both teams are going to be saying, hey, we had some shots. Reasons to be positive for both teams.
And finally, a foul called there, a little push off for the Braves on the jump ball. It'll be interesting whether or not the referee continues to let this game really flow as we go into the second half. If he tightens up on things, not trying to want to get too out of hand.
Right now, 4 fouls against UNCP, 3 on North Georgia. Here's Embley. Got a decent shot here. And now an opportunity for Malashik, but it's played away by Katie Ryan. Gina Ryan comes flying in with a nice save. Decisive move by Ryan, flying over and getting hands on that ball.
That's just goalkeeper timing right there. Gina Ryan knows how much ground she can cover and that she can get to that ball before she upends the player for North Georgia, because otherwise, if she doesn't get to that ball first, that's a clear foul.
Alexis Pittman now on the near side. Embley and her kind of dueling, and Embley kicking at the ball from her backside. Foul called on North Georgia, and UNCP will have a chance.
And back to Gina Ryan, that's what makes her an extremely good goalkeeper. She knows how much ground she can cover, how much time she has as well to avoid an opportunity where she might be giving up a penalty kick, or whether or not she can get to that ball and pick it up before anybody else gets to it.
4 saves so far for Gina Ryan. Here's her sister, Katie Ryan, to play it into the box. High in the air. Decent chance off the head of Scott. Goes over the goal. Gotta like that, though, if you're UNCP. We talked about the height and athleticism of Stacey Scott giving teams issues all year, and that time almost paid off for the Braves.
Yeah, able to get ahead to it. You know, if you're looking at the service there, a pretty solid job there by Katie Ryan. You might want to see a little bit more pace on it, a little bit less height to it to allow Scott to get her head on it, to create a downward angle towards the goal rather than popping it up like that. But for the Braves, a all-around solid set-piece opportunity.
So here's North Georgia working down the far sideline. It's Crane and Katie Ryan jostling. And Ryan plays it away.
Why you got to keep?
So we are under 7 left here in the first half. What a match it's been. It has flown by because it's been so entertaining. Obviously the drama of it being a Peach Belt Conference matchup, but also very aggressive teams here duking it out, entertaining brand of soccer. Ooh, a lot of contact there in the box. Cleared away by the Braves. Here's Bree Mason surveying the fields.
Play with it, play with it.
And a ball towards Scott. Ping-ponging around, give it back to Stevenson for UNCP. Rochelle, low line through ball is knocked away by Rent out of Embley.
Don't give them advantage. Go to it. They're going to shoot at 25.
Dekuto there to clean it up for UNCP. Give it back to Rochelle. Over the top again. Knocked away by North Georgia. Katie Ryan. Just going to clear that one away. So, an update on some of the numbers here for this match. 6 shots for North Georgia. 5 for UNCP. 4 shots on goal for the Nighthawks. And only 2 for the Braves. Granted, UNCP has had some decent opportunities, but a few heavy touches have kind of wasted those away early on. Scoreless first round battle in the Peach Belt Tournament.
And one thing to note, as far as I've counted, no substitutions yet for Lars Anderson. A couple of changes made for North Georgia here in the early going, though.
There's a high cross, and it goes over the top. Jostle in the box for it, ends up in the feet of Van Horn to Embley. Goes right to Gina Ryan. Heck of a cross there, out of a crowd. Giving at least an opportunity to Van Horn and Embley.
Yeah, caught, for one of the few times I've ever seen, caught Gina Ryan a little bit in the middle, whether or not she wanted to come out, grab that ball, or let it bounce.
Van Horn and Stevenson, number 25s, duking it out. Physical play continues from both sides. And here it is, Van Horn is down. You gotta hope she's okay. Stevenson goes to help her up. She gives a thumbs up. And you mentioned it, Sam, and the officials letting them play physical. Uh-oh, that got over the foot of Dekuto. Embley now over to Malashik. A shot goes saved by Ryan over the top.
Yeah, Van Horn finally up to her feet. You have to wonder what that attack might have looked like had she been available. Can't tell whether or not she's coming off here. She is walking towards the bench. But a nice attack there by North Georgia, and one of the cleanest shots we've seen so far in this game. Nice save by Gina Ryan, just flicking that one over the bar, forcing the corner. And Van Horn is going to come out.
And that is not who you want to see come out of the match for North Georgia. But obviously no one wants to see her come out due to an injury. She did give a thumbs up, so you hope it's not something that's going to leave her out of the match for good.
And something tells up seeing her, won't see her for the rest of this half.
There's a cross, deflected, another dicey ball in the box, but it goes right to Gina Ryan this time.
As a senior, they'll let her sit out the rest of this half. We only have 3.5 minutes remaining, and then have her go full bore for the final 45.
Bombs away, Gina Ryan. Too far over the head of Rochelle. Back to Stevenson, though. And here's Rolfs. Oh, physical play, another no call. Well, give the official credit. He's consistent. He lets the contact go unless it gets over the line. He's been consistent. Both teams know how the game is being called. That's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, the only thing you don't want to see, though, is too many more injuries.
Absolutely.
Like Renee Van Horn. We obviously don't know the extent of it, but you don't want to see players going down too much without a whistle.
Here's Malashik with a chance. Oh, contact in the box. And no foul called. Ooh, Haley Stewart.
Look, I thought Stewart got her boot to the ball first before colliding there in the box with Malashik. But that was a tight one right there, and a challenge UNCP had to make because otherwise she was clean and on goal.
Here's Scott. All over her defensively is Sundstrom, trying to get it up to Pittman, and it's closed off by Dunphy.
Gonna have the tire, turn it on.
Trying to get it up to Malashik, and Stewart boots it into the crowd, which has turned out to be a good crowd here at LREMC. It was kind of a slow start, crowd quantity-wise. They started to trickle in. It was an earlier match than usual, so as they caught word of this postseason match, they've started to show up here, and it's a great environment for this postseason class. Oh, a nice shot there from far out. That was Meredith Tucker, the freshman. She actually came in for Renee Van Horn.
Trying to fill some big shoes.
Yeah. Got a shoe on that ball, and Ryan didn't have to move too much, but a pretty good shot in terms of pace. Now it's Embley. Had her foot stepped on there for a moment by Pittman, and she's trying to tell the official, hey, come on, I got tripped.
Girls, you let them beat you to the ball. You got a
Drops
minute
into Scott.
23. Let's go with
It is a beautiful day here in Pembroke, North Carolina. I mean, it is just about perfect. At about 70 degrees, sunny, just a slight breeze. Perfect conditions. These teams would be ready to go to war no matter if we were in the nor'easter and a blizzard. They'd be ready, but selfishly, I'm happy.
Just the ideal October day.
Yes. Yeah, Friday was ugly, rainy, windy conditions. That's why we couldn't get the broadcast on the air for Senior Day, unfortunately. But Braves got the win, so they were able to host. We're under a minute.
43. You gotta go fast,
40 seconds and counting.
Kick it hard.
Katie Ryan trying to get it booted down, give UNCP a late chance. Robson, the senior, says, let's go, guys. Boots it down off the head of Rochelle. Here's Scott. The shot goes sailing over the top into the swamp. Plunks into the water. That was a decent chance for the Braves.
Beautiful job by Scott there, using her body to shield off the defender, letting the ball take a hop. Then again using her body to turn around the defender and put herself in a position to score. Took a shot, got underneath of it, but hey, why not? And that'll be how the first half ends.
Wow. Better than advertised. UNCP and North Georgia battle it out to a 0-0 tie after one half of action here at LREMC. Man, it's been a good one. It was pretty much back and forth that half, as UNCP had the advantage early. North Georgia kind of took control. Last 10 minutes or so felt pretty even. We had stretches of both teams with counterattacks. I mean, both keepers have been tested here and there. This has been exactly what we thought it was going to be after the way these teams played into overtime a week ago, and looking at these two teams on paper. This is a 4 and a 5 seed, and it certainly looked like it so far.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what adjustments Lars Anderson is going to want to make as we go into the second half. What kind of chess match we're going to get in between North Georgia and UNCP. Who's going to go on the attack? For the Braves, are you comfortable? You know, you're never playing for a quote-unquote draw here in the first 90 minutes, but is Lars Anderson comfortable saying, okay, I would go to a golden goal, sudden death overtime, or possibly even penalty kick since we're here at home? Or does he make some adjustments, maybe get Maya Grimes into the game, get some more bodies up top that could produce something? Or does he kind of leave it as the status quo and see if something breaks? If not, we say, hey, we'll just keep on playing.
Some stats: 10 shots for North Georgia, 6 for UNCP. The Nighthawks have 8 shots on goal compared to 2 for the Braves. But Gina Ryan, 8 saves so far in a physical match that has seen 5 fouls on North Georgia, 4 on UNCP. 5 corners for the Nighthawks, none for UNCP quite yet. It's just kind of been an odd little stat there. That's just kind of how the ball has bounced so far. But wow, entertaining action, and we are at 0-0. All right, we will take a 10-minute or so break here on the UNCP Sports Network. We are pleased you could join us on this Tuesday evening. Beautiful conditions and a beautiful match of soccer so far. Again, stick around. We'll be back in 10 minutes for a second half. You're not going to want to miss 0-0 score in the first round of the Peach Belt Tournament on the UNCP Sports Network.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Back at Lumber River EMC Stadium, Chris Clayton and Sam Jelinek with you here on the UNCP Sports Network. It's the first round of the Peach Belt Tournament. UNCP and North Georgia playing one evenly matched half of soccer. And we've played to a tie, 0-0. Shot advantage going the way of North Georgia, 10 shots compared to UNCP 6, but in a physical first half. We are in the stat column that's most important, that's goals scored. Both teams at 0. So we'll see who takes the advantage here in the second half. UNCP taking the last two matchups between these two squads, including last year's Peach Belt semifinals, and earlier this season, actually a week ago, Braves took down the Nighthawks in overtime. But 45 minutes on the clock and an intense second half set to get underway here between the Braves and UNG.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like deja vu all over again, doesn't it now? Both teams having their opportunities, nobody really capitalizing on them yet. Gina Ryan, was forced into a few saves for UNCP in the first half. On the other side, North Georgia was able to pretty well contain the attack of UNCP. You know, the old saying of break but don't bend, giving up some space to the Braves but not allowing them to get any clean shots in on goal. But we'll see if the Braves can break it in the second half, or if it's going to be North Georgia who finds the score sheet first.
So Renee Van Horn, that's a good sign. She was shaken up at the first half. Worried about how injured she was. She was down for a while. Did give a thumbs up, and now 2 thumbs up. She's back on the field, and we are underway for the second half. 4 and the 5 seed here at the Peach Belt Tournament. Braves are the hosts, obviously the 4 seed. That was Shively. Played it out of bounds. So UNCP with possession. It'll be a throw-in for Katie Ryan. Scott lets it go over her head. Oh, wow. And after everything that was let go in the first half, there's a foul call on a play with not a ton of contact, maybe setting the precedent for how things will be called in the second half.
I mean, if you're the Braves, you like that the foul was called right there. But at the same time, they're going to have to be a heck of a whole lot more careful as this game goes on if that is the type of fouls we're going to be seeing called here in this one.
Katie Ryan bombs it over the top. Goes past Rochelle, a header played by Gowdy. That was Bree Mason that got a head on it. Soft, kind of popped it over there, and Gowdy with an easy save. 7th shot for UNCP. Renee Van Horn with a left foot high in the air. Hit back by Robson off the shoulder of it. Looked like Rolfs. So North Georgia, a team that averages just a tad under 3 goals per match. Last time the Braves held them scoreless in the matchup here at LREMC a week ago. Same story so far in this one. Rochelle to the middle. Nice job defensively by North Georgia to play it away. There's Shively, has the ball deflected. Bombs away in the left footer by Brennan. Robson up towards Pittman. Now here's Mason. Matched up with Dunphy.
Get rid of it.
Mason with a nice spin move. Cross towards Pittman. Cleared out by the Nighthawks, who were looking to counter. And here goes Renee Van Horn. 12 goals this year. Up the field. Now Malashik. Left-footed strike deflected through the hands of Ryan, and she's still able to control it. Woof. Abby Crane was on a sprint.
And one thing the Braves just got very lucky with was not Gina Ryan having that ball slip through her hands like that, but Jill Robson had got her feet tangled up underneath of her, so a player running on the backside there for North Georgia was left unmarked. If that ball was crossed, North Georgia had a wide open player. I believe that was Abby Crane, who slid into the backside of the box, and Jill Robson, who was marking her, fell down.
Here's Van Horn. Van Horn, who started that last run down the middle, but this time UNCP is able to clean it up. Rochelle downfield for Mason. Defensively, Thorson's on her. Mason turns on the Jets down the far side. And that'll be a corner for UNCP. First corner of the match for the Braves on the way.
Yeah, it feels like that's a little bit overdue, doesn't it?
It's not like UNCP hasn't had the ball in this territory. It's just the ball just hasn't bounced that way and given the Braves an opportunity for a corner until now.
The Braves scored on this side of the pitch off of this very same corner to win the match last week in overtime.
And it was Rolfs on the cross that time as well. Here it is again, towards the back of the box. It's off the hip of a player. Pittman knocked down, no call. Decuto sends it sailing out of play.
Gotta be patient.
Went off the hip of Rochelle towards the middle of the box, and Pittman just couldn't get a good shot on it. So North Georgia avoiding disaster there in the box. As you said, Sam, in the same spot the Braves put UNG away a week ago in overtime. Mason falling down, pops it to Scott. Play back to Rolfs. Rolfs takes a shot. Gowdy handles it. Rolfs from downtown that time.
Yeah, an attempt from well outside the box with not a whole lot of pace on it. Doesn't really challenge Gowdy, and I think we're at that point in the match now where it's no longer you're trying to probe and see what the goalkeeper's got, but you know what kind of form Gowdy is in for this game. And it looks like she's going to be up to the tasks of those kind of long shots.
Stevenson playing ahead for Mason, but it's cleared away by Rent. Under 40 left in regulation.
And I think we saw or learned anything from that first corner for UNCP. It seems like North Georgia's a little bit uncomfortable trying to defend those. So here the Braves, you got to get the ball into the wings, try for a few crosses, see if you can't get a corner.
Rolfs puts a foot on it, deflected back by it was Thorson on that last play defensively. North Georgia now in control. Here's Renee Van Horn, the senior, shaken up earlier. Has the ball knocked right back to her. Sundstrom again to Thorson. Braves had control for a moment. Shively, the senior. Towards Van Horn. A header high in the air. Gina Ryan gets under it. Popped off the head of Malashik. Sophomore was preseason all Peach Belt. But not enough to really challenge Ryan. Stevenson. Kind of a 50-50 ball, and Scott is able to get there in time. Well done by the senior.
Really good awareness by Stacy Scott, not only just to get to that ball, but knowing she had no options to try and stand on that ball, fiddle around for a little bit, maybe try and find a pass, plays it straight off the defender for the corner. That's a heads-up play.
Yep, you hear the cliche about hustling for loose balls, making those winning plays. That's one right there. It's setting your team up with a corner. Christine Rolfs for the Braves' second corner of the match, and the second in the last few minutes. Scott setting up for it. Gowdy can't get there. Stacy Scott finds the net, and the Braves strike in the 52nd minute. Sam, we talked about it. North Georgia didn't look comfortable defending against the corner, and it pops up once again. UNCP with a massive goal here in the first round of the PBC tournament.
Yeah, it just felt like you saw it on that first corner that something looked a little bit off in terms of them trying to be able to defend that corner, and right there they get it to Stacy Scott, who I mentioned earlier in this game. If the Braves are going to cross it in or get some corner attempts, try and set her up. She does. She finishes, beats Gowdy, and now maybe another run.
There's Scott again. Deflects off Gowdy and cleared away. It'll be a throw-in for UNCP. Scott, I think, kind of lost her footing.
Way to go, Braves!
A little bit of a heavy touch, too.
But now they're after that first goal for UNCP. Gowdy, that's a ball, a grounder right there that she's got to be able to gobble up, and not being able to find a way to keep that with her allows the Braves to stay on the attack.
There's Here's Scott again, 9 goals now this season, leading the Braves. Despite missing 4 matches. Robson with a low lining ball towards Mason. It's loose, Pittman's on it. And not a great angle, right into the side of the net. So you could kind of see Scott with her height rearing up on that last goal in the middle of the box. She was ready to explode in the athletic position. She didn't actually jump as high as we've seen her, but she was able to read the ball and put it exactly where she wanted. An accurate header, and Gowdy laid out for it, just couldn't get there. Now, Rochelle with an interception. Nutmeg, but she's not there to clean it up, so I guess not technically a nutmeg. Now Malashik and Dekuto in a little bit of a battle downfield, but goes out of play.
Hey, Rochelle, way to work, baby. You are hustling. Way to go, dog, baby. Proud of you. Just take it away from her.
Katie Ryan downfield. Look at Stacy Scott, physical battle, no call, and there's a foul call. 23 on 23 there. Brennan and Scott. And you can kind of start to see some urgency from North Georgia. Now down 1-0. Trying to keep their season alive. Now that the Braves have the lead, you kind of look at North Georgia and say, they're on the bubble making the NCAA tournament as well. They really can't afford to lose this match. Could still get in, but it's not going to be easy.
For the Nighthawks, yes, there's a little bit of a sense of urgency to trying to score a goal here, but the real sense of urgency should be trying to reverse the flow of play right now. Right now, UNCP has controlled everything out of the gates in the second half. And before you get a goal, just try and get the tide to turn in your favor a little bit, control possession for a little bit, get a run up in play, and then worry about putting something in the back of the net.
Right. Still a lot of time, so to your point, not the time for sheer desperation yet. Now it's Embley. Goes right to Robson. Oh, how about this cross? Towards Rochelle, off her head, but out of play. Rochelle not known for her height, that's one way to put it. She's 5'4", but the defender on her, Shively, she's also 5'4". So in that matchup, Rochelle was able to rise up and get ahead on the ball. Nothing to challenge Gowdy, though.
And North Georgia, it's not like you want to keep the equation exactly the same as we get a substitution here. Rosie Embley will come off. But at the same time, in the first half, they were able to produce a scoreless half while getting a few shots on net, so why not keep things relatively the same?
Bisso, who just checked in, has it cleared away. She had possession for a moment just outside, or just inside the box. And here is Pittman. Trying to give it to Mason on a run, but it's closed off well by Dunphy. Bisso to Thorson. Now to Van Horn. Dekutos kind of sneaks up on her, clears it away. And Scott again, playing physically, getting possession. On a run down the middle, 1-on-1 with the keeper, and Gowdy with a save.
Not exactly a perfect finish there from Stacy Scott. One hop straight down to the left of Gowdy, who did well to save it and corral it as well. Sure, Stacy would like to finish that a little bit better off of her weak foot.
Pretty clear now. Scott has given this defense some issues with her, not just speed. When she gets those long strides going, I mean, she is really tough to keep up with. And of course, she's displayed her strength as well, shielding off defenders. So she's giving North Georgia a lot of issues right now. Still a lot of time, though. Braves certainly have momentum and control this match, but here's Ryan. Off the head of Mason towards Pittman. Gowdy comes up and takes care of business. So for Gowdy now, she's at 6 saves. Rolf's trying to give it to Rochelle. Miss-hit there slightly. Bomb it downfield to Dekuto. Stevenson goes to Crane and Katie Ryan in a battle.
There you go, way to work.
Body's hitting the grass, no call, and Stevenson will play it deep. Sundstrom for Crane. Trying to get past Katie Ryan, never an easy task. And Ryan's able to dislodge her from the ball. Scott again showing his strength, but North Georgia in control. Uh-oh, Scott's shaken up. And Stacy Scott is down near midfield. Here's Abby Crane with a cross, and it's deflected away by Katie Ryan. Bree Mason over to check on her. Shell now does as well. There was a collision there. Not obviously sure what happened there with Scott, but there certainly was contact. Hopefully just a stinger. She looks like she's already jogging, so she is injured. She's toughing it out for now. Shively with a cross. Free ball in the box for a moment, but it goes to Day Couteau for UNCP. Cleared away on the ground. Sundstrom now for North Georgia. And a 50-50 ball just outside the box. Malashik and Day Couteau jostling for position. To Crane on a cross. Ryan boots it away. And Shively to Rolfs, who says, let's just get this ball out of here. How about that deflection? Gives Scott a decent opportunity off the head of a North Georgia player. Now high in the air. So here's a chance for the Nighthawks. They have the ball on this half of the field, but the Braves again defensively coming through. Ball hasn't been over here very much this half. See if North Georgia can take advantage.
Don't let 25 work it.
Thorson
She's the leading scorer.
on the far side to Dunphy.
Work 'em over. Don't give them no room.
And Dunphy again. Give it to Bisso. Free ball in front of the net, but Katie Ryan's able to clean it up. Van Horn was in the area. That was dangerous.
Yes, it's kind of felt like all day for North Georgia. Free ball in the box, like he said there, just not in the right place at the right time. Looked like somebody might be able to get there.
There's a shot for North Georgia. That was Sundstrom. Sent it sailing too far. Actually stayed in play. That one went much farther hooked to the left than Sundstrom would have thought there, trying to hit the upper corner.
That's all right. That's all right.
Good news for North Georgia here. The last 3 minutes or so, they have at least put the pressure on the UNCP defense.
And one thing still to note, North Georgia's bench up and running. A few substitutions might be lurking. There's been no movement out of the UNCP dugout.
No subs yet for the Braves. Sticking with that, the 11 starters.
Turn it on. Turn it on.
Abby Crane being harassed by Katie Ryan.
Turn it on. Go get it, Carly. Go get it, baby. Go get it.
What's interesting here for the Braves is even with the 1-goal lead, as you see Katie Ryan here in the offensive half, the Braves are sticking with that high press, which is something you normally see of a team trying to score more goals, but even with a 1-0 lead, Lars Anderson not backing down. He wants 2.
Come on, Pip. Don't let her quit.
Stevenson with his pretty strong header. Here's Scott with a shot to Gowdy with a save. Wow. Stacy Scott imposing her will right now, and Nighthawks really have not had an answer yet for Scott.
Well, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. Why not take a rip? See what can happen.
Go hard. Go hard.
There's
Go
Dunphy.
hard. Go hard.
Excuse me, that was Thorson actually, before it's cleared away by the Braves. Scott again applying the pressure to Rochelle. There's a deep shot that's off target. I don't think Scott, despite the fact that she's still dominating, she's 100%, she still looks like she's in a little bit of pain. Credit the senior though, playing through it, playing well.
Hold it in there.
For Lars Anderson, you're going to have to keep a real close eye on that, because the last thing you want is, for as much as you'd like to get a second goal, you don't want to risk, and this is thinking ahead when you probably even shouldn't be yet, you don't want to risk having her unavailable for any part of the tournament.
Here's Van Horn, Day Couteau, Foul called against Van Horn.
Good job, girls.
Second round of the tournament will be played on Friday.
Give us 27 more minutes, we'll be there.
And then the final would be played on Sunday. It will be played on Sunday, just these teams hoping it'll be them in it. Stacy Scott near side, left side of the box. Gets it to her right foot. Her cross is deflected away by Thorson. Actually, that was Sundstrom with a deflection. Thorson just had it, but plays it off UNCP.
All right, girl, just hold on now.
So we're at 26 minutes left here in the second half. 1-0 lead for UNCP. Stacy Scott with exactly 38 minutes left, 12 minutes and 15 seconds ago, found the net off her head. It was a cross from Christine Rolfs that ended in a goal to put UNCP ahead here against North Georgia. We've heard that before. Braves beat the Nighthawks in overtime last week. But now a really good opportunity for North Georgia. High in the air, Crane has it headed away. Stevenson was right behind her. Sprinting up for this is Rent to Dunphy. Pittman all over. Maybe a side throw in here for the Nighthawks.
The set pieces have continued to disappoint here for North Georgia, both today and last week.
Dunphy has the ball taken away. Here's UNCP the other way. Mason. Braves don't have numbers, but they attack anyway. When you have Stacy Scott, you might as well. Here she goes down the right side. She will shoot it, just not able to find the back post.
And hindsight's always 20/20, and with how Stacy Scott's feeling, she's going to take that shot 10 times out of 10, but she had Carly Rochelle coming off the backside completely unmarked. If she had picked her head up, she might have been able to see it. Was that pass open? I'm not sure, because the defense was closing down on her, but another option there. But with how Stacy Scott's been playing, you let her take that shot. If it goes in, it goes in.
Mason down the right side. Dunphy. Well done. Ooh, Mason kind of throws her shoulder there. No call. Official letting him play this half just as he did in the first half.
The Braves have very much been able to kind of test that limit, push it as far as it can go. No cards have been issued in this one with the Braves, a handful of fouls.
There's Pittman with a cross towards Scott. Deflected away by Brennan. Rent has the ball. She'll play it away into the UNCP bench. Well, Scott's been aggressive. She has 8 shots on the match, 4 on goal. She also has UNCP's goal. She has really played well here in this Peach Belt quarterfinal. UNCP as a team has. I mean, this is a North Georgia team with 10 wins on the season. Experienced, talented squad year in, year out as North Georgia. Now they have a chance the other way. Sundstrom. Stevenson chasing, trying to get it up to Crane. Uh-oh, it gets past Katie Ryan. Here's Crane. Near Malashik, and the Braves fortunate. Get some awkward bounces there, almost a Nighthawks opportunity, at least to challenge Ryan.
And it kind of feels like that's the way North Georgia, if they're going to tie this one up, it's going to take some sort of miscue for UNCP, some sort of lucky touch to get them into the back of the net, because otherwise the opportunities just haven't been there for the Nighthawks.
It's very rare to see Katie Ryan make that kind of mistake with the ball getting past her. One of the best defenders in the Peach Belt. Rolfs dislodged on a physical play. Here's Thorson the other way for North Georgia. Stevenson defending. Give it off to Rochelle. Tried to play it back to Stevenson, and miscommunication, and Nighthawks are back in control. And Scott sneaks up from behind. Now a long ball and a pretty good one to Mason, but Gowdy is there. Nice little counter attempt from UNCP. Doesn't pay off, and quickly North Georgia wasting no time. We'll give and go, but Jillian Robson with those long strides, full effect, and she plays it away. Well, here we go. It's going to be the first sub in for UNCP. Looks like that's Randy Addison. Pittman clears it away.
Be ready, go. Be ready.
There's a cross. Katie Ryan with a header. Nice job, and Carly Rochelle for UNCP. Up towards Scott in full stride, trying to get past Brennan. She does just that. A cross and no one's there. Well, that time, Sam, she did cross it, and there actually wasn't a teammate there. If she would have done that with Rochelle earlier, it would have been a goal. Katie Ryan plays it forward, and Scott wasn't even, I don't think Scott even knew UNCP had the ball. I think she's kind of shaken up. Every time she makes those runs, she seems to still be in pain.
Good job, good job. Way to get to it.
Brennan for Crane. Katie Ryan closes it off. Out of Rolfs over to Rochelle, near side. Near where 2018 and the UNCP 6 seniors numbers are written on the field. Left on for the rest of the season. They were initially painted on Friday for Senior Day. UNCP got the win, allowing them to host this match. How about this run from Bisso? Peyton Bisso with a cross, and it's popped in the air by Robson. The left-footed strike, and it goes wide. That was Thorson, the senior out of Norway. An awkward little shot there. Tough angle for Thorson, but still pretty dangerous, and UNCP is able to hang on to this lead.
The bounces keep on coming for UNCP, just not following the way of North Georgia as they try to be able to put something solid on net. That little ricochet there with the shot by Thorson had a little bit too much on it. Not able to get a real clean touch. So that's actually Maya Grimes coming in.
Yeah, Grimes checking in for Alexis Pittman. Grimes, the freshman, out of Kernersville, North Carolina. And another sub in, this time for North Georgia. Under 20 left. Time ticking away on the Nighthawks. But again, they've had some decent opportunities. Would not be surprised at all here to see them get some more here in the last 19 minutes. That'll be Embley that'll check back in, and Renee Van Horn will head to the bench for now.
It's an interesting substitution there for North Georgia to have Van Horn come off, and she's immediately going to go to ground and get stretched out by their trainer. So they're obviously trying to prime her for the final 15 or 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah, Van Horn, not only does she have 12 goals this year, which is third in the conference, she's also tied for first in the PBC with 6 game winners. So she scores them when they matter. That's why they want Van Horn healthy and on the field. Unfortunately, she was shaken up in that first half. Here's Embley.
Charge it, charge it, charge it.
Now Thorson. Stevenson to Rochelle. Towards Grimes. Grimes a through ball looking for Mason. Too far out in front. Gowdy picks it up. UNCP, for just joining us, scored in the 52nd minute. A header by Stacy Scott. And it's perhaps a cramp. It looks like a cramp for UNCP. That's Haley Stewart. Now, Stewart was shaken up recently. against North Georgia back on Tuesday a week ago. She was out with an ankle injury and did return on Friday to play in the win against Georgia College. Now she's back on the field, but she is down and shaken up. And her teammates were going to help her off the field. She says, nope, I'm good. Walks off under her own power. Kind of limping off. Thought for a moment it might have been cramps, but she is slow to walk off. And for UNCP, they replace her with Alexis Pittman. Pittman came out just a few minutes ago, replaced by Maya Grimes. Now Pittman's back out on the pitch. Here's Gowdy. Foul called against Rolfs. She throws her hand up. She's not pleased with the call. Brennan.
And judging by the substitution for UNCP with Stewart coming out, I believe Stacey Scott's moved back to center back, where she'll probably play the remainder of this game.
Here's Embley. And there is Scott from her center back position, clearing it away. And the Braves have Grimes forward. That's where Scott played at center back position against North Georgia a week ago, of course, as we've talked about. Did a great job there. And she's scored UNCP's goal earlier in this match. Bree Mason in a full sprint trying to get to this ball as she's battling with Rent, and Rent does a nice job of not allowing UNCP to get a corner at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see this kind of change, but I wouldn't be surprised if UNCP's style of play turned into a more of a possession-based game where they can control the ball down the wings instead of trying to push it up the field so quickly without somebody like Scott at the top to really hold things down now that she's playing at center back in place of Stewart.
There's Ryan with a cross high in the air. Header by Pittman for Grimes. Back to Rolfs, but here we go. North Georgia back in possession. Embley, nice ball to Sundstrom. On the attack. Throw a ball up the field for Malashik, and it's Stacey Scott who clears it away. Doing everything for the Braves.
And also the key for the Braves with not pressing as high up the pitch anymore is the last thing you want here is to provide North Georgia with a counterattack opportunity. Looks like Van Horn's going to check back in, I believe.
Yeah, that is Renee Van Horn, the leading scorer for the Nighthawks and third in the Peach Belt. That's who you want on the field, obviously. Has a corner opportunity as De Couteau deflected that one over the byline. This will be Rosie Embley, the junior out of England. Left-footed in swinger, here we go. Popped in the air off the head of a UNCP defender. That was Rochelle. Sundstrom, though, for North Georgia. Does deflect it off the stomach of Grimes, and the Nighthawks still with possession. Time trickling down under 15 minutes. UNCP with a goal off a corner kick, just like last time against North Georgia. To take this 1-0 advantage. North Georgia, one of the top teams in the Peach Belt, year in and year out. They've had a ton of success the last 9 seasons. But the last 9 years, they've not been able to win a Peach Belt Conference championship. And now they're in danger of being knocked out in the first round for the 3rd time in the last 10 years. Still a team that's a regular in the NCAA tournament. Headed high in the air. Rolfs now heads it. Pops straight up in the air. There's Malashik. Far side now to Fitzhugh. Pretty good cross. Embley. Played off to Malashik. And then her shot is way off target.
one thing that really just hurt North Georgia there is I thought Embley had a shot to take on goal, but it would appear that she's not very confident in her weak foot, a left-footed player. We've seen her mainly take free kicks, also toss in the corners for North Georgia, but they had a shot to take with the right foot, opted not to, laid it off to Malashik, who had a bit more of a contested shot that went way wide.
It goes off the head of Embley to Sundstrom. Now to Van Horn. Deflected by De Couteau. Boy, UNCP not wanting Van Horn to have an opportunity. Every time she touches the ball, there are defenders bearing down on her. Mason to Rolfs, now to Rochelle. Rochelle with dumb feet. Gets it to her right foot. Cross. Now to Rolfs, heavy touch. Still gets to it, left-footed strike is out of play. But if you're UNCP, you're just pleased right now that time continues to run.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that shot for Rolfs, considering the point of the game where we're at right now. If it was a little bit more controlled, that'd be one thing. We took a kind of a wild hack there. The Braves do get the ball right back.
Here's Mason, but Gowdy's able to run it down.
But in a game where UNCP is going to try and hold down possession, giving up the ball like that on an errant shot that really didn't have a chance of going on net, probably a little bit ill-advised.
Chase him. Chase him.
Rent to the near side to Dunphy.
Right, here comes. Chase him. Chase him.
Downfield, De Couteau looking to clean this ball up. Keeps it in.
Get down with it. There you go.
Well done by De Couteau, the sophomore defender who's been excellent this year for UNCP. Now Rolfs.
Move, everybody move, move.
To Mason. There's Bree Mason onto her right foot. The shot blocked by Gowdy.
Good try.
Had Grimes in the middle.
Across it.
There was a defender there as well. Not a bad shot there from Mason.
Good job.
De Couteau again just bombs it downfield. She's played well here this match.
Go long now. They go it long.
So for UNCP, the all-time record between these two teams is 8-5-3 in favor of the Braves. North Georgia has never beat UNCP here at LREMC.
Go ahead, work.
Braves 4-0-2 against the Nighthawks here at Lumbee River EMC Stadium. Trying to get that 5th win as they seek to milk the last 10.5 minutes off the clock with this 1-0 advantage.
Go to it.
There's Rolfs.
Get rid of it.
Defender bearing down on her from behind.
You got
Trying to get it to Mason.
Players.
Headed back, here's Thorson. Now Van Horn. Stevenson. Defending. Now back to Thorson again.
Chase him, chase him. Chase him.
Embley. Trying to get past De Couteau. And a foul call on the Braves. So here's Rosie Embley with a chance. Under 10 left in the second half.
Knock Carly down, but he gets a touch.
Interesting here, the Braves are going to go with a three-person wall.
Popped over the top, and there's too much on it.
There you go.
Easy pickup there for Gina Ryan.
Won't end up mattering. A little bit interesting there. The Braves went with the three-person wall when it was pretty apparent Embley wasn't going to go with a shot.
Keep working.
Would have preferred to see more bodies in the box. But either way, it ends up all the same for the Braves.
Maybe that's why she didn't go with the shot. There was a wall there.
Katie, a few more minutes, babe. Anything goes here.
Just over 9 left. Obviously, you don't need me to narrate the clock, but feel the tension here as North Georgia is looking to keep their season alive. Still have a chance to make the NCAA tournament if they lose this match, but for both teams, they are
Hang in there, girls. Hang in there.
certainly not looking at perfect resumes, so they both trying to get every win they can get to
Right now.
pad their chances at that. But obviously, very high priority is also just for UNCP trying to defend their Peach Belt championship. Embley. Cleared away by Scott. Grimes is sent to the deck. No call. Here's Rochelle. That one mishit, a little bit too soft.
Way to work it,
Ping pong back and forth. Here's Dumphy. Sundstrom.
Get on her.
Van Horn is dislodged. Back to Thorson.
You gotta chase him.
On the far side. Into the middle to Tucker.
Make it work.
Cleared away by the Braves. Brennan.
Make it work. Make it work. Make it work.
Tucker. Crane. Does a nice job keeping it in. Robson's all over her. There's Sundstrom. For Thorson. Oh, her shot's a pretty good one. But Gina Ryan didn't have to move much, but pretty nice contact there from Asia Thorson.
Now rising a little bit there at the end, just above the forehead of Gina Ryan. Gets the mitts on it though, no trouble.
Go to it.
For some keepers, maybe. Not necessarily for Gina Ryan.
Few more minutes, girls.
One of, if not the best keeper in the Peach Belt. Peach Belt and Elite Conference nationally as well.
And with that shot, you can kind of feel it. North Georgia's going to start trying pressing the issue, get some shots on net, see if something can find a few cracks.
Yeah, kind of desperation time now for North Georgia with just about 7 minutes left. You got to start challenging the Braves. Desperate attempts. Maybe you get a ricochet. Embley bombs towards the middle. Van Horn's header. Ooh, a pretty good one. A little bit wide.
And Van Horn, that fits you running here on the near side, nearly able to flick that one on and in if she had gotten there in time. Also, the angle wasn't quite right for her anyways. But North Georgia, they're going to give it everything they got here in the final 6.5, see what they can't turn up.
Riley Searing now in there for UNCP. Fresh off the bench. Gives the Braves some energy near the midfield. Well, here's an attack for Crane. And a foul. Uh-oh. Here's a great opportunity for North Georgia, and a yellow card is issued. Christina Stevenson.
First card of the game, inopportune time.
This will challenge the Braves. North Georgia, just over 6 minutes. You never know how many of these opportunities you're going to get the rest of this one.
Rosie Embley, who has been taking free kicks for them off the ball here.
Van Horn leaves it back for Tucker, too high. So they leave it for Meredith Tucker, the freshman midfielder out of Decula, Georgia.
And for North Georgia, those set pieces continue to be
Girls,
wanting for something more.
Yeah, the Braves have thrived in this match on those, and North Georgia, who's an excellent offensive team this season, has struggled in that category. Thorson's dislodged by a couple of Braves defenders. Tucker, Katie Ryan closes it off. Well done by the junior. And sprinting down the near side. Oh, she's sent to the field, and that is an easy call for the official. And the Braves fans want a card, and it is a card issued to Abby Fitzhugh, or excuse me, Brooke Fitzhugh, the freshman.
Hold up, few more minutes, girl. 5.
So Katie Ryan for UNCP taking her sweet time.
Few more minutes, girls.
Of course, clock stopped at the collegiate level where it's at, which is at about 5:26. Here's a bomb downfield for Searing. Header towards Rochelle. Deflection. Here's Rochelle with it. Right-footed strike, and Gowdy's able to get in front of it. Nice little challenge, though, by UNCP.
Okay, watch it, girls.
Gowdy wasting no time.
Get to it.
Carly Rochelle, the redshirt junior. Transfer from UNC Wilmington. He's played well for UNCP. Bree Mason has it for the Braves, a freshman on the far side. On Under 5 left.
Don't let her have it. Don't let her have
Boy,
it.
it feels like time is slowing down, doesn't it? The last few minutes have
That's all right.
felt like an eternity.
Keep running. Keep
That's
it running.
usually how it works when
Anything to break
a
clock.
team has the lead. Time seems like it slows down, and for North Georgia, the complete opposite as they look to take advantage and extend this game. There's Van Horn. Put her over the top for Crane. Stacy Scott will reject that idea. But North Georgia, deep in UNCP's half,
Few more. 4 more.
with an
4
attack
more.
opportunity. Clock dwindles under 4 minutes. Embley. Back to Crane. Here's a cross for the Nighthawks. Off ahead, and Gina Ryan picks up the free ball. For good measure, dives on it safely. Cradles it.
Few more, girls. Few more.
Van Horn was in the area,
Go to it. Get
but
to it.
not
Get
quite
to it.
close enough to send that one into the net. Here's Mason. Surveys the field, looking for a running teammate. She will sprint past Brennan.
Expect her to wait with this ball down the corner for as long as she can.
Give some help.
UNCP patient for obvious reasons. Uh-oh. Mason's limping. She's holding her left leg. She's trying to stretch it out, hopefully just cramps. And a foul called against the Nighthawks.
Good job. 2 more. 3 more. Time's running. Time's running.
Two and a half minutes left. Braves with a 52nd minute goal from Stacy Scott on a corner. That's how they have their lead. Rolf's shot is deflected and goes wide. Gowdy quickly looking to come up with it, but if Braves have a substitution, I would guess this is going to be for Bree Mason, who is limping. And it is. No, it is not. It's for Alexis
2
Pittman.
more. 2 more, girls. 2 more.
Mason's going to stay out there. And that is actually B. Fretwell who checked in there for UNCP. Mason looking pretty healthy there. Controlling the ball on the far side. Fretwell trying to get it back to Stevenson. There's Dunphy. Rolfs boots that one almost into the parking lot.
Come on, girls. 2 more.
And oddly enough, with coming up on a minute and a half left, you don't feel any urgency here from North Georgia.
Now's the time. Play it ahead. Gina Ryan's able to clean it up. Trying to get Fitzhugh there on a run.
Take your time.
Now's the time for North Georgia. All hands on deck. You got to be aggressive. Got to let it rip if you want to stay alive. Braves trying to hang on. 75 seconds.
Good job. Good job. Take your time. Gonna say 1 minute. 1 minute. Go get it. Go get it, Braves.
There's Embley with a chance. Uh-oh, played ahead here to Fitzhugh. Towards the middle, and it's Descouteau who clears it away. Now another opportunity as Dunphy for North Georgia. Dunphy with a shot, dips down, but it goes right to Gina Ryan.
35 more.
A little bit of a scary moment there for UNCP. Gina Ryan up to the task. Had that been on the other far post, maybe a little bit of a different story. Like you said, that ball dipped just enough that Gina Ryan had that ball come in right at her head. Easy save for her.
Pretty work there, Carly.
And Rochelle, knowing that will waste time, boots it forward. There's only 11 seconds.
Open goal.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
And that
2, 1.
will do it. The Braves victorious. A 1-0 first round Peach Belt Conference Tournament victory over North Georgia. Stacy Scott's header off the Christine Rolfe's corner does the deed for the Braves, who picked up their 10th win of the year and advance into the conference semifinals. Stacy Scott's goal in the 52nd minute for UNCP allows the Braves to beat North Georgia for the 3rd consecutive time. And also the Braves are now undefeated at home on the season still, and also against North Georgia. North Georgia has never beat UNCP here at LREMC. Wow, well, 4 and 5 seed, evenly matched, very competitive match as we expected, but credit the Braves. I mean, this is the type of grit, tenacity, competitiveness, physicality that we saw last year that allowed them to get through the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. And they did it again this year, composed at home, coming away victorious.
Big win for the Braves, and in a weird way, I think a loss here to North Georgia would have hurt more than this win actually does help their resume. But at the same time, you got to win to keep on moving. They do just that. Will most likely be facing Columbus State in the next round, which will be a phenomenal match, by the way. But here in this one, the Braves, you know, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination they played great, but they took advantage of their opportunities. When the ball fell to them in the box, Stacy Scott finished it off. They played outstanding defense. They did not let North Georgia get too many obvious chances on goal. When they did, they were from far outside the box, forcing them to try and beat Gina Ryan, which they could not do. They kept Renee Van Horn in check, which was the biggest thing in my mind if UNCP wanted to win this ball game, and then they did just enough on the offensive end to be able to pull out the victory and move on.
So for UNCP, held Van Horn, they held North Georgia, an electric offense averaging just under 3 goals per match. And the Nighthawks didn't score at all against UNCP this year in their 2 matchups, even going back to last year in the semifinals, in which again UNCP took down North Georgia 1-0. The Braves do it again. Wow, Lars Anderson and the UNC Pembroke Braves do it again. Haven't obviously defended their Peach Belt Championship crown yet, and that is a big hill to climb still, but take it like a cliche, you know, 1 match at a time. They did just that tonight. They get the victory, and now on Friday, they will play in the semifinals against likely Columbus State, who hasn't lost a Peach Belt match yet this season. But we'll see how that goes. That one will unfortunately not be at home, so that is the last home match of the year for UNCP. And LREMC Stadium has been good to the Braves as they finished the year 9-0 at home, only allowed 1 goal here at home. And what's interesting is they're actually 1-4-1 on the road. So sometimes you see a team's great record at home and you say, well, you know, they have a phenomenal record. They're good everywhere. Well, UNCP hasn't been great on the road this season. So you got to see them translate some of what they do here at home to the road as they take on Columbus State.
Well, fortunately, it'll be a neutral site, so
right.
they got that going for them.
But it's away from this magical place.
But yeah, you're right. That is just a little caveat like that. What is it about for the Braves, why they haven't played well on the road this season? I have honestly no idea what the answer is. Sometimes it's just fluky little things. They have played some very good teams on the road, one of them being Columbus State. But for the most part, you know, the Braves have played astoundingly well here at home and have not matched that level on the road. You know, if they want to be one of the elite teams in the country, which is what they were last year with the Peach Belt Conference title, and if they want to do that again this year, they're going to have to do the same thing. That's really the one barrier for the Braves to pushing them across to that kind of elite status here in the country.
What a win it was for UNCP. 1-0. They take advantage of Stacy Scott's goal, her 9th of the season, to give the Braves that victory. Obviously, defense, though, a big part of this win, as well as Gina Ryan. Give her some credit as she picked up a shutout against one of the best offenses in the PBC. And for her on this match, 11 saves for Gina Ryan. She earned this shutout at home. Also for UNCP, give some credit to Christine Rolfes. She had 6 shots and also that assist on the corner. And Bree Mason applying pressure all match long on North Georgia. She had 4 shots as well. Leading the way for North Georgia statistically, 6 shots from Taylor Malashik, but give credit to the Braves defense. Van Horn did not have a single shot. That's one of the leading scorers in the entire conference. She had no shots and 3 fouls. Obviously, she was shaken up around halftime, but UNCP defensively really kind of shutting her down in both the matchups this season. So for UNCP, that's a big part of their win. Again, they'll move on to the semifinals, and they'll be playing on Friday. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday evening. Thanks to our cameramen tonight, Josh Reed and Brandon Hodge. For our color man tonight and director and producer, Sam Jelinek, I'm Chris Clayton. Have a great evening.